60-second drill. Your time starts when I say start. Your time ends when you say done. You understand? Start.
Today we'll be going over the 60-second drill and your PPE, structural PPE, and what to look for and the components of it. First item that we'll be going over is our gloves. These are multi-layer gloves typically. They're made out of leather. They protect you from heat inside of a structure. You want to make sure that they're free of rips, tears, holes, anything like that, because heat will transfer inside very quickly. Refer to your components or to your manufacturer on what they're made out of and how to wash and clean and all that. Next component we'll be going over is our helmet. It's a fiberglass composite material. You have your identifier typically on the front shield. You have your chin strap. It's adjustable to adjust. And then you have your shroud, which depending on where you are at or your proctor will have to be down to protect the back of your neck like that. Additionally, in the rear of most helmets, you will have your adjustment. Just twist to tighten or loosen. It will depend on with your hood and mask on as well, on how tight you need it. And then you have your suspension in here to hold your helmet in place. Next component will be our hood. These are made out of Nomex. And this protects your ears, neck from fire and also allows you to still be very mobile. This comes down to your chest and still leaves that for your face. And then that will stretch around your SCBA mask. So that way you're creating a seal and there's no bare skin exposed. You want to make sure that these are free of rips. These can rip fairly easily. And then, as well as the gloves, your cleaning details will be on your labels. Our next component will be our structural jacket. Both the structured jacket and the pants are made out of 3 main layers. You have your outer shell. In between, you have your moisture barrier, and then you have your thermal barrier. So those 3 components are in every piece of structural PPE, jackets and coats, and that's what protects you from the heat and water and steam that is involved in there. On the back, you have a drag rescue device, DRD. This is a piece of webbing that goes through the whole coat. It's Velcro right there, and you can pull it and it will tighten your entire thing, and you can be drug out or moved, whatever's needed for that type of situation. And that is just housed on the back of your coat. Additionally, some quick components to talk about. There's a flashlight holder, a radio pouch, and then miscellaneous pockets on your PPE as well. And then you additionally have your unit identifier on your shoulder patch. So, a more in-depth look into our Turnout coat. We'll start with the outside shell some more. This is going to protect you from all the external elements. It takes about 25% of the heat away at the beginning, and it protects you from debris, roughness from this softer, more fragile material that is inside. So it's essentially a shell to protect the core. You have your lapel mic holder. Specifically, if you're running a radio strap or a radio pouch, it will run behind and can attach here. Washing this PPE and the components internally, you'll have these snaps that run all the way around your PPE. That is how the liner is attached to the shell. To wash, you will separate your buttons. And be placed inside out into the extractor. I will continue to remove some of these so we can show you the DRD device in more depth. So here's a view of the drag rescue device that we mentioned earlier. This was the initial piece that I showed you. It runs to a loop of cord that goes around your shoulders and will cinch upon pulling and be able to assist you on leaving the structure. This is that moisture barrier that was mentioned earlier, better picture of it. You wanna make sure all your turnouts are clean and well in service, all your buttons are snapped, as well as a clean inside. So to put your PPE back in service after, say, a wash, you will go through and reattach all of your snaps to make sure that everything's aligned. Snaps will come undone as you do it, so just ensure that they're all done properly. The buttons down here will actually pass through this loop and be attached. The ones at the base are the only ones of that style. The next component we'll be going over are our pants. You will have suspenders that assist in maintaining the height, as a lot of them do not have belts that are too adjustable. These can be loosened, tightened, by pulling. These components consist of, for my specific turnouts, a buckle, Velcro, and a snap. So the order is snap, Velcro, buckle. These are also made out of the same materials as your pants. I will take them off now. And consist of similar properties. Your suspenders will be held on usually via loops to rivets. These will come off occasionally, so at the beginning of your shift, make sure that they are attached. Same as turnout coat prior. These are attached with snaps across as well as down by the feet. And you have your protective shell, your internal moisture barrier, and your thermal layer with the same properties once again as the coat for the abrasions and protection and all of that. Now if I disassemble, these knee pads are extra layered for protection when you're working on your knees, moving around on your knees, as you'll do frequently inside of a fire. You have two side pouches for storing equipment, webbing, safety gear, whatever you need in there. A spare set of work gloves for me, for example. Down at the base, those were the snaps I was talking about. So that is how they're attached and maintained down there as well. These are your structure boots. They will typically have a steel shank and toe on them to protect you from nails, abrasion, anything inside the structure. They're also heat resistant, same as your PPE, and should protect, your pants should go down very far. They should come up high to give you a safe zone when working. Cleaning would be to go to manufacturer's recommended specs. These are all rubber. They can be scrubbed down, hosed off, all of that. And then finally, inside the boot, you do have your shoe size. And then on every piece of PPE, which I will show you in a moment, there is a label, and they have to be within 10 years of manufacturer date to stay in service. For example, this coat is 1 year away, so I will be contacting my PPE person to exchange this for a new updated set that's within standards. Label on the coat is on the inside for us. Label on the pants is on the rear. And then label on the helmet is buried inside. You will have to move your suspension system to be able to see that. If they are out of date or approaching date, just notify your PPE personnel and or on-duty captain and work on getting that exchange to maintain compliance. And then final words of advice. During your 60-second drill, you would like to make sure that you are under 60 seconds, as that is the standard. However, there is a fine line between being too fast and you would like to make sure that there is no skin showing. Common areas where that can occur: wrists, hood areas, the piece around your neck will not be latched. You want to make sure that your helmet is tight, that if you were to bend over, it would not fall off. Your pants are the full length and will go down and properly protect your feet and ankles. And make sure that everything that is supposed to be fastened per manufacturer is fastened, as it can result in injuries or exposure to things that you should not be exposed to. Thank you for training with me on your 60-second drill. Train hard and feel free to reach out for any questions that you may have.
Rescue Fire, out there, doing it.